I know, it's been a long time coming, but season 2 of Night Agent has arrived and I've watched the entire season, and I'm just gonna drop in here and give you some of my quick thoughts as I was looking forward to this season after season 1.
Exactly what you wanna say, what you wanna say. Exactly what you wanna say, what you wanna say.
I just want to start off by saying it was interesting in the beginning. It was new, it was fresh, it had all the energy of a freshman player that was eager to play ball. So after the first episode, I was really looking forward to what they were going to do with the rest of the season. We welcomed back some familiar characters. We had Peter Sutherland on deck and a few other additional characters that made a reappearance this season. And we kind of get off to a fresh start. We see Peter, who's on the heels of his adventure from last season on an undercover mission with a partner in the foreign country. Things go sour and now he's on the run. And we also get to see Rose very early on receiving information that lets her know she's supposed to help a boy, and she's able to use her mysterious tech to track him down and follow him to New York City. And apparently Rose following Peter around on what are supposed to be super secret clandestine missions is a theme for season 2. One that I was not expecting nor care to experience again. And this is the point where I feel this season takes a sharp left and goes straight downhill very fast. I'm not saying there weren't any interesting things that happened during the season. It just seemed kind of slow in the beginning when they were building up to this information about the secret Foxglove program. But there were some shining stars. Let's start off by talking about, Amanda Warren, who plays Catherine Weaver. It took me a while to get used to her style of acting. It seems she took the approach that she was like a jilted agent who has like a long history and a lot of heaviness to her career, but she's also sort of in a complex emotion where she's trying to prove herself, but she doesn't feel like she should have to prove anything to anyone, which I can certainly sympathize with. But I did appreciate her more subdued approach to the role. There's also Keon Alexander, who's a part of the Iran storyline with Noor, and I saw him and I was trying to figure out, where have I seen this guy before? That is of course my boo Marco from The Expanse. So yes, he's very good. He was very good in The Expanse as well, and I'm a fan. So it was very refreshing to see him, even though his character was kind of annoying and misogynist and all that stuff. But I did appreciate seeing him in the show. Another standout for me, for example, was Sammy, who comes on later on in the story with Noor. He gives a very good performance for the short time he's actually in the series. But for the most part, a lot of the fire that could have happened this season was watered down by a big wet Rose. Yes, Rose. I may or may not be exaggerating, but by the time the end of the season came, I felt like Rose was in every scene. I felt like her character was injected into everything she had. She was in scenes she had no business being in. She was in story arcs she had no point in being around. It was almost to the point where this season, Peter was almost a secondary character to Rose. And I don't understand that because the show was called Night Agent and he is a night agent. I just don't understand why she was so prominent this season, to the point where Peter and Catherine were working around her character. They were acquiescing to her character's needs, watching what they were doing to, be careful around her character's temperament. And in every other episode, she either wanted to go back to California, but no, she wanted to stay. She wanted to leave and let the real agents do their jobs, but no, she wanted to stay and take over more responsibility and having to save everyone this season. And when you get to the last story arc, when it comes to this bioweapon thing, of course she has to be the one to help defuse it. And it really is a shame because there were some storylines that really did have some momentum. For example, this section with Noor and her family trying to extradite them out of Iran was actually a very good sequence. Her connection with Peter was very good. The acting was very good. The storyline was well written. It was a lot of good action in the scene. And I think it was because it didn't necessarily involve that much of Rose. And when I think about this season and the sections I happen to enjoy the most, it were the plot lines where Rose had the least involvement. And this isn't a bash against her acting or anything. It's just the acting was fine. It was just too much in my opinion. I was also very confused with the dynamic of their relationship. For the first half of the season, they were friends. I'm sure, I wasn't sure if they were friends or if they were romantic. I didn't know, and I guess it really didn't matter. It didn't need to be defined. But at the same time, the lens that Peter had to go through in order to save her would have made more sense if their relationship was a little bit more fleshed out. And like, for example, towards the end, Catherine had this conversation with Peter where she explained to him that you have to be honest with the people that are close to you and the people that you care about, sort of insinuating that he needed to confess some sort of feelings to Rose, which never happened unless I happened to skip over it. Which was kind of weird. The last sequence with the bioweapon that they had to defuse, okay, I guess it was all right. But of course, Rose was the only one that could track down the scientist, doctor guy that could formulate the bioweapon as well as defuse it. And she was the only one that could get in there and help him. But at the very, very end, where Peter actually had to start fighting these guys, it was more interesting because it was a very good fight sequence. He actually took on the role of being the main character at that point in the very last episode. It was refreshing, I guess. Overall, the season was serviceable. It just wasn't what I expected, especially considering I just so happened to watch The Recruit right after this. And let me tell you, child, night and day. We're going to do a review for that next. So stay tuned for that one. But for right now, Night Agent, I don't know. I'll give it maybe a 6 out of 10. I'll have to think about it some more. That may be kind of generous. But anyway, let me know what you think. Did you see it? Did you like it? And let's talk about it. All right. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.